Well, good morning everyone. Noelle and I are in the truck heading out into the backcountry behind town. Got another Campfire Cook lined up for you today. And today we're going to make a whiskey and beer stew. How good does that sound? The spot I have picked out is a rustic provincial campground site. I've taken the family there camping a few times before. It's a groomed site without any facilities, which means it won't have any wood there. So we're going to make one stop along the way to pick up the firewood we need for the day, and then we'll head off to the campsite. So I'll see you there. Alright everyone, here I am at my spot. I've hiked in all my stuff from the truck, and this is where I'm going to do the cook today. I've got a really nice spot. There's a nice big clearing here, open skies above, trees all around, fresh snow, there's animal tracks. I'm going to show you a few things about the spot here. Just take you off the tripod. Yeah, so I forgot to video it when I grabbed them, but I found these nice lodgepole pines, which are going to become very useful here very shortly. You know, nice clear opening overhead. Little clearing right here. Right there's where I'm going to build the fire. And I've got lots of choices for wood. As you can see, there's some deadfall in the forest here, and you know, right over there, there's a nice big deadfall there. And if I go up the hill just a little bit, there's another one right up there. So I won't have any shortage of wood. I've got Noelle along for the ride with me, and we're gonna get set up here and make some whiskey and beer campfire stew. Can't wait, it's gonna be great. So I've got the fire going, and now I got to get ready for my tripods. So I'm going to cut these down. I need six footers, and then one length to bridge between them. So I'm 6 foot, so that's easy to measure. So I've got my fire going, and while that's settling down into some coals, I'm going to get my tripod poles set up. So about a good length of string, fine, whatever you have, just something to bind them all together, bind the posts together. For my purposes, about 8 feet should be good. Start off with, gotta lash them together. So I'm gonna make a snell knot here. So I loop 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Then you come back through the beginning hole and then out through the hole you just made. And then what happens there, get that nice and cinched tight, and then I'll be able to pull this tight once I get it lashed around the poles. So I've got 3 6-foot poles. And I want to do my lash about a foot from the top. Do this so you guys can see. So I bring my string through the hole that I just made. And then I can cinch that knot down right tight. Just like that. Yep. And then I wind it around with as much string as I cut. I cut about 8 feet off. So just loop and loop. So all looped around, now I'll just knot it tight. And just a simple knot will work here. Once again, I picked a very nice, quiet, peaceful spot. Noelle's enjoying herself. Lots of sticks to chew on out here. Okay, hatch lash tight. Let me show you how I set it up. So very simple. Plant one pole, pull the other 2 out. Instant tripod. And so later, when I have a post across here and I'm cooking, I can control the temperature of my pot just by simply pulling out the tripod's legs to make it lower to the ground, bring it down to the fire, or bring it up somewhat higher from the fire. So I'll do another one of these on the other side, and then I'll have a pole going in the middle. So while that fire is burning down, I'm going to start doing some prep work, and I'll show you everything that I brought. Of course, this is some white mushrooms in there. Got a can opener for the tomato paste, a peeler, I've got 4 red potatoes, an onion, a yam, parsnip, a grater, 2 carrots, and some chuck. So I find when cooking a stew, you want the lesser choice of meats. The chuck, which comes from like the neck and shoulder area, that has a lot of sinew in it and is generally a tougher meat, which is good for a stew because you simmer a stew for a long time, and then that sinew and the fats all break down and become marbling and be nice and tender and delicious. I've also got a few other items over here I'll bring over. Of course, my trusty cutting board, can of beer, some whiskey, bacon, and in this little Tupperware I've got some garlic cloves, some butter, and a spice mix blend that I did up. So that spice mix blend that's in here, that is a teaspoon each of oregano, basil, sage, thyme, marjoram, onion powder, ground mustard, and 2 teaspoons of paprika. And I also put in some kosher salt and some black pepper. It's nicer to salt to taste, but you know, I had enough stuff to pack out here already without doing that. Now I'm going to start breaking it all down. So I guess you might be wondering why I brought 2 camping chairs. One isn't for me, right? Come on, Noelle. Hey, this is your chair. Up. There you go. There you go. Lay down. Good girl. There, let me stay out of the snow for a while. Give your paws a break. Well, the first thing I want to get is my bacon. So, only about 4 slices of this is going to get used in the stew. The rest I'm just going to cook over the fire, and that'll be a little snack for Noelle and I. So the purpose of the bacon, really, aside from the flavor, is to give me something to cook the beef in. So I just want nice, about 1-inch thick slices. And then I'll just cook that in the pan, render it off. Just like that. That's it. That'll go in the pan. Guess I should have just left everything out of the pot in the first place. So once I get going here, everything's just going to be going into the pot. One big happy family. So I can get ahead of myself a little bit by prepping the vegetables and throwing them in there. Still waiting on the fire to die down to some nice coals. So, sweet potato. I think I said yam earlier. Sweet potato. Nice big rustic chunks. I'll cut the sweet potato about inch rounds, then cut them into 4 parts into the pot. If I happen to cut some that are too big, just cut them down. parsnip. So you notice everything that I'm putting in here, aside from the mushrooms, are root vegetables or tubers. They hold up really well with the simmering stew. Don't break down into mush. So out of those 4 potatoes, I'm going to cut up 3 of them, and I'm going to reserve one of them for a special purpose that you'll see a little later. So I didn't want the bacon cooked all the way down. I just wanted to render off the fat a little bit. So that there, good enough for me. So I've got that chuck into the bacon grease and back onto the fire it goes. I just want to get some browning on this meat. Once I'm happy with the browning, I'll put the meat into the pot, and then I'll work on deglazing the pan with onions and whiskey. Alright, here's our nicely browned chuck. Into the pot that goes. And then we're going to deglaze this pan. So for deglazing the pan, this is where the pat of butter goes in. There's that's spices that are on there from the Tupperware container, not dirt, so that's all fine. And back onto the fire, and we'll get the onions in there. Okay, onions are nicely cooked down. Now we're gonna deglaze this pan with some good old whiskey. And mash. And obviously you'll know when the alcohol is burnt off, when all those flames die away. And that, oh, smells and looks rich and delicious. So this will go all straight into the pot. Got you off camera right now, but I've just got the pot hanging on the tripod at the end here. And all that onion is now in the pot. So here's a little trick for you with your cans of tomato paste. Put the can opener on and cut open the bottom and the top. So that way, when you push it through, you can just slide off that bottom one. And when you put that tomato paste in there, you can just push through with that top lid and then reach in, just grab that lid out. Use all the tomato paste. What am I going to do? Bring some back with me? Use it all. Lots of flavor. The tomato paste gives a bit of flavor depth to the stew, and it'll also help thicken it a little bit. Next ingredient to go in, can of beer. The whole thing. Don't be shy. And there's what the pot looks like right now. I got all the vegetables in there, the bacon, the beef, the onions. Now I just got to put in a couple more ingredients and it can simmer away. Cover it with water, enough water to cover all the vegetables. This is almost enough. Gonna need just a little bit more. But I brought enough water for Stu and myself and Noelle. That looks pretty good. Next thing to go in is my spice blend that I did up at home. I'll let that come up to temperature. I'll slice up my garlics and get those in there. And one more little ingredient after that's done. So I'm getting a little low on battery, so I'm really going to do a summary of what I've got left. I said I had one more ingredient. I lied, I actually got 3. I've got the garlics that I'm going to chop up in there. I've got potato, the last one that I had. And I've got the grater. So I'm actually going to grate this potato up into that pot, and the starches of the potato will help thicken it. I'll also have this browning sauce, which is a magic ingredient for any stew. I would not recommend making a stew without this. This stuff adds a little bit more flavor and gives it some nice color. Well, we're going on about 2 hours now. Let's have a little peek. Oh, look at that. That was bubbling right away. I think I might actually lift this a little off the fire so it's not bubbling as or boiling as hard. But hey, it's looking great, and oh, it smells good. So I thought to use my campfire grill, just propped up with a stick, to cook the leftover bacon for Noelle and I. And Noelle, you like bacon? Woohoo! Bacon's cooking quick now. Maybe a little too quick. The fire's flaring up a little bit, cooking my bacon a little too fast, but the nice thing about this setup, I can just slide it down a little so it's out of the direct flame. Ooh, this one right here. Yep. We'll put it up here just to cool off for just a second, because I know somebody right over there that really likes bacon. Doesn't know the word bacon anymore, but I guarantee you she likes bacon. Hey Noelle, what's this? You a good girl? Come up. And the bacon's gone. Yeah, there's none on the ground. That's it. You just swallowed it. Yeah, eternal gratitude of a dog. Yeah, where's the next piece of bacon? So if you've never had the joy of bacon cooked over an open flame and smoke, you're missing one of life's great pleasures. Oh boy, it was so good. Just that smoke flavor, you can't beat that. It's so good. So it's 4 hours later. I have to shoot on my iPhone because my my Sony digital camera ran out of juice. So here's the stew. Look at that goodness in there.
Every scoop.
Something gorgeous.
Let's try a little chunk of potato here. Holy hot. But that is, oh my God. I thought the bacon was good. I get the bacon, I get the chuck, I get the tomato flavor, the tomato paste, all the spices that came through. It is absolutely gorgeous. Campfire stew, whiskey and beer. Fantastic. So the final taste test is up to her. Noelle, ready for a treat? There you go.